If you've participated in community goals or other events in open play, chances are you may have occasionally been destroyed by a commander firing at you inside a station, while seemingly tanking the all-powerful station lasers for what appear to be an unnaturally long period of time. You might just have come across a funny hull Anaconda. Let's look at how they work and how a quirk in FDev's resistance stacking math allows you to reach 96% thermal resistance while stacking kinetic and explosive resistances, achieving no fewer than 89,000 thermal hit points. Let's start with how resistance stacking is supposed to work. In a developer update from 2016, FDev states that resistance stacking is intended to have diminishing returns. They also state that, quote, it is impossible to reach or exceed 75% static resistance to a damage type. Later on, they also add that, quote, there is no cap when stacking resistances that end up being negative. So in the opposite direction, damage increases can get a bit exponential. Now, and I speak about this as an engineer myself, the problem with a lot of engineering work is that we love to create complex systems which, on paper, appear very smart and sophisticated. However, since we are not mathematicians, the systems we design aren't always completely thought through. In the case of resistances in Elite Dangerous, there's a major quirk in the stacking math. Once resistance is past 70%, which is immediately achievable with a mirrored surface composite armor with thermal resistance and reflective plating, by the way, which gives you 72.4%, any negative resistances stacked on top end up giving you higher resistance to that damage type instead of subtracting from it. The higher the negative stacking value, the higher the bonus.
Before we wrap the explanation of how this all works, and while we're talking data, let me take a moment to mention that 2 out of 3 viewers of this video are not subscribed to this channel, and only 1 in 10 has notifications enabled. If you enjoy this content, please consider taking a moment to liking, subscribing, and enabling notifications, as it really helps me notice your support. Thank you, and let's get back to Alif mathematics.
Which modules have the most negative thermal resistance multipliers? As it turns out, these are Class 1D hull reinforcement packages engineered for either kinetic or explosive damage resistances with a deep plating experimental. Each of these has a minus 11.64% thermal resistance modifier. An Anaconda can fit 13 of these. And if you alternate between kinetic resistant and blast resistant ones, the result is an Anaconda which has 96% thermal resistance, 60% kinetic resistance, and 57.1 explosive resistance. With no fewer than 89,000 thermal hull effective hit points, while still supporting very respectable hit points against kinetic and explosive damage to boot. So long for reaching or exceeding 75% static resistance being impossible. A link to an example build is pinned in the comments below. These Anacondas, which have come to be known in the community as funny hull Anacondas, have so much health that they are able to tank the mighty station defense lasers, which typically make short work of rule breakers in a handful of seconds for up to a full minute, which is more than enough time to attack and destroy unsuspecting commanders inside stations. These ships are only somewhat viable for PvE, as the resistances do apply to your modules as well, but without shields, module reinforcement packages, or an AFMU, your modules will give way well before your hull does, and you'll limp back to base with a smashed canopy with 95% hull still remaining. Like all things Elite, knowledge is power, and what you choose to do with such knowledge is up to you. Funny hull ships aren't new to the community, but the specific description of how they operate has not, I believe, been widely explained before. Will you use these ships responsibly, commanders? Let me know in the comments below. And glory to mankind. Commander Mechan, over and out.